So I'm sure many of you, if not all of you, know what DVDs and Blu-rays are. They are ways for you to watch a movie or a TV show on your home TV screen using an optical disc. Well, there were actually several media that also did the same thing using optical discs, but the one that I'm talking about today is Laserdisc technology. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about Laserdisc technology. There's already plenty of videos on YouTube that do a much better job at that than I ever could. I recommend Techmoan and Technology Connections channels on that because they have entire series devoted to Laserdiscs. What I'm doing today is I'm just sharing with you my experience and my thoughts on the technology. This is a Laserdisc player. This one in particular, according to the sticker on the back here, says it was manufactured in July 1995. Laserdiscs have been around since the 70s. In fact, it was a competitor and a superior technology to VHS tapes, the thing that DVDs replaced. This is one of the later gen players, and I got this just this month. Why? Well, it's actually pretty simple. I had a Laserdisc player growing up. My dad collected Laserdisc movies, and by the time he died earlier this decade, his collection had grown to about 36 movies total. The player that we had unfortunately died and is so beyond usable, and we got rid of it years ago anyway. But I never got rid of those movies. There was just a nostalgic factor to them, and I didn't want to give them up. So to play them, I got this player. And my hope with this video is to show you guys the difference between Laserdisc movies and DVD and VHS and even Blu-ray, to show the comparison and quality between them, give you an overview of what Laserdiscs are capable of that no other media can do, and hopefully through all of that I will share my passion with you guys and show you why I love this so much. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, so let's do a quick overview of Laserdiscs. So let's go ahead and use the Star Wars Trilogy Special Edition as a example. This was the release that came out after the Special Edition was released in theaters in 1997, and it comes in a total of 9 Laserdiscs, 8 of which are double-sided, and it also comes with this beautiful artwork inside that gives you a chapter selection for each of the films and an overview of the special edition as well. This kind of stuff just doesn't exist anymore with physical media, but back in Laserdisc days, it was almost expected to see it. Anyway, like I said, Laserdiscs came with 2 different sides for most movies. Each side could hold roughly an hour of film, and the Star Wars films being 2.5 hours long each required 3 sides. So, yeah, this is how big the Laserdiscs are, and if you want a comparison between a Laserdisc and a DVD, well, I happen to have a DVD right here that I'll go ahead and compare. There we go. As you can see, Laserdiscs are absolutely huge in comparison. They're about the size of a 12-inch vinyl record. And these are some of the Laserdiscs that I have. This is just a small selection. My dad bought so many Laserdiscs for films. A lot of them were Disney films for us kids, and action films for himself, and romantic comedies for my mom. And he just took such great care of them. And these are just some amazing films. And if you guys haven't seen any of these films, I highly recommend that you do. Just absolute classics, all of them. And it's just a fun bit of history to look and see that these were bought on sale at Blockbuster for $10 back in the 80s. And yet, look at this. Absolutely pristine condition Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. There's just so much content on these discs that aren't on DVDs and Blu-rays these days. There's a lot of special features that are on these discs that have never been migrated upwards. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at the player itself. Turning it on, as you can see, gives you that nice amber display there on the front. Oh man, just so much nostalgia. So many electronics I had growing up that used a display just like this. It must have just been what was expected of electronics in the 80s and 90s, all the way until the early 2000s.
This player did come with a remote control, and popping open the disc tray, it actually went all the way out of frame. That's how big it is. So after readjusting the camera so you can see it a bit better, this is huge. Like I said, Laserdiscs are 12 inches wide, the size of vinyl records, but they stick snugly inside the tray just like that. And you can use the remote to open and close it. Almost all of the controls necessary to play a movie are on the player itself, but the remote helps with a lot of extra fun things that I'll show you later on. Anyway, you might be used to plopping a disc into a player these days and it goes to a main menu. Laserdiscs didn't have main menus. What you would do is when you would put the Laserdisc into the tray and shut the tray, it would instantly start playing just right away. Just go straight into whatever was on the disc. That's because this is not a digital video, it's actually an analog video. There's a difference. It's way too technical for me to get into. But another thing is it does support digital surround sound. It's weird. Analog video, digital audio, don't really know why, but so anyway, the opening to the Star Wars Laserdisc opens up with that, and if you don't like that, you can just skip and go straight to the movie itself. And as you can see, the letterboxing is actually programmed directly into the disc, so you do lose a lot of resolution as a result. But luckily my TV has a zoom in function that takes off the letterboxing pretty much perfectly. And as you can see there, you can use the skip button to go straight into a different chapter with very little lag. Anyway, so you might be able to see underneath the number 4 there, that's a CLV, and under the 3 here, this is a CAV. And there were 2 different kinds of Laserdiscs that I didn't even find this out until very recently. So this side that I'm showing you is the CLV. That's just the standard Laserdisc side that can hold up to an hour of video. But the CAV can actually hold half an hour, but you can actually see the pits right there where the video goes. The advantage of the CAV is that you're able to pause and frame buffer forwards and backwards, step forwards and backwards a single frame, as I'm about to show here, in a movie. And what a lot of movies did is they would make the final side of the Laserdisc movie CAV in order to take advantage of this, so that you'll be able to see a much clearer climax and be able to step forwards and backwards however you wanted. Anyway, this Laserdisc player also supports audio CDs, and a lot of Laserdisc players did. The one I had growing up did. And just fun fact, there's a lot of PlayStation 1 games, including Tekken 3, what I just put in there, that if you put them into a CD player, it plays the soundtrack from the game. Alright, now, the only film that I really have in enough media in order to compare between Laserdisc and how it looks against everything else is Star Wars. I have the special edition for everything, but I do have the VHS and the special DVD that comes with a disc of the original and a disc of the special edition, so I'll be making multiple comparisons here of a specific scene, and I really hope Lucasfilm doesn't copyright this video. Anyway, as you can see, this is the VHS. This is how most people would have seen the film when it was first released on home video. This is the unaltered edition, so there's no enhancements, there's no color correction, there's no cleanup of the film. This is a direct film to composite video conversion, and it looks pretty muddy, and this is the full screen version as well, so you're literally missing half the picture. This is the Laserdisc version, and at first you might think, it's not that much better, but the big advantage is that it is widescreen, so you do get that picture back. The colors are a lot better as well, and the audio is a lot better too, although unfortunately I can't show you guys the audio. Trust me though, it does sound miles better, even with analog cables. And the reason that it looks so bad is because I actually zoomed it in editing. When you're playing it on your TV, it looks like this. Unfortunately, the letterboxing is programmed straight into the video, so you do lose all of those lines of resolution. But it looks a lot better when it's zoomed out, and the TV that I have does a pretty good job of enhancing the video, so it looks a lot better when I zoom it in on the TV itself. And this is how good a Laserdisc would have looked compared to a VHS back in the day. Anyway, this is the DVD that I have of the non-special edition of Star Wars. And the colors are very washed out. The resolution is probably comparable to the VHS. This release of the movie is just so bad. It's notoriously bad. It literally looks like they might have shot a video camera pointed at a wall that it was on. Anyway, this is the DVD for the special edition, and it looks just so much better. The colors are way better. The resolution is higher. You can see details, and it's beginning to look more like what you would expect for a film to look like if it was released this day and age. It's just so much better. It looks like you could be, this looks way more tolerable. Let's just put it that way. And, of course, the one that everyone knows and loves, the Blu-ray release. And, honestly, I am having a very hard time seeing a difference between this and the special edition DVD. Blu-ray is full HD, but putting this side by side with the DVD, it's really hard to see any differences. Most of the differences are in colors. Not in actual clarity of details. The special edition DVD was mastered wonderfully, and hopefully that shows. Anyway, now we got a four-way comparison. The VHS versus the Laserdisc zoomed in versus the special edition DVD versus the Blu-ray. And hopefully this gives you a pretty good idea of how much better the Laserdisc would have looked over the VHS back in the day, which is when it was most prevalent. Obviously, the DVD looks better than Laserdisc, and Blu-ray looks way better than everything else. But that's just to be expected. That's just how far technology has come. There's no reason for you to own a Laserdisc player these days. Blu-ray just does everything way better, especially now with 4K. But this all doesn't matter anyway, since the best version of Star Wars is the holiday special.
So that wraps up this video. If you liked the video, please leave a like and let me know in the comments if you knew what Laserdiscs were before you watched this video. I'm sure some of my younger viewers never even heard of Laserdiscs, so I'm interested in reading every single comment you guys have to share. Thanks for watching, everyone, and this thing is really, really heavy.